Greetings, I'm Bairnt and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to continue our playthrough of Bardsung. We're moving into a boss battle. I am also posting this video on the One Stop Co-op shop. Those that are watching it from there may not have seen our second mission. We did complete that. If you're interested in seeing how we actually got to this boss battle, check that out over on my channel, Meet Me at the Table. I'll put a link to it in the content description of this video. But we'll be moving into a Reaver captain fight. This is something I wanted everybody to be able to see. The last video was just yet again another dungeon crawl, which was super fun and I had a great time doing it. We saw some really neat things and we gained some great experience points that we have to spend on our characters. And in the last video, I did ask for people's opinions on what we should do with those, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But for now, we're going to go through how we're going to set this up and how boss fights work. Then we're going to go to our characters and then we're going to start our boss battle. If you're excited to see if Dawnguard, Nightfeather, and Skullsplitter can take down the Reaver captain, then I need you to meet me at the table. The Reaver captain. The sound of deep laughter echoes from ahead, strange in these bleak surroundings. It is soon accompanied by other voices, some low rumbles, others like nails scratched over chalkboard. Regardless of their pitch, the accents and tones betray them as belonging to a band of hobgoblins. Around the next corner, you see a small fire burnt down to embers, a mob of creatures lazying on the ground in front of it. One in particular stands out, a heavily armored warrior with a proud bearing and a cruel smile. He looks up. The moment your eyes lock across the clearing, he leaps to his feet, shouting for the others to arm themselves. It seems this will be your first test against a more challenging adversary. Every boss battle is a little bit different, but of course the end goal is always to kill the boss. This is a boss card. It's a reference card that will show you what you need to know about this particular boss. It doesn't have anything about the attacks. You'll see those soon enough. But what you're seeing on this card is the name, our target number that we're going to need when we attack the boss. Also, its speed and toughness are on this card as well, along with any type of special rules, and also if this character heats up. This particular one does not. It will not be heating up as we play through it. Remember, heating up is when a monster takes a certain amount of damage, you'll flip the card and it'll be doing new things, which is really cool in Bardsung. On top of that, you're going to find initiative cards that you're going to be using for each boss. This particular one has two, Ripping, Slash, and Cull. These will be the initiative cards that you'll shuffle into the initiative order. It has how this is going to attack, who it's going to target, and whether it can heat up, and yes, they can. And notice each one of these is a little bit different when it comes to the way it attacks. So these will be shuffled in with the rest of our cards to determine the order. And when one of these appears in the order, we'll perform that attack according to how its AI system down here is going to function. With that in mind, we'll be removing from play all the other cards that we had used. Our challenge aspect deck, our battle goal deck, all of the corridors and rooms are going to be gone. Also, what's going to be gone is our cards that have to do with the echo token. Those cards are not going to be in effect either. After all, this is a fearsome foe, and even wandering monsters want nothing to do with it. So with that in mind, we'll not be doing the round 3 end phase. We'll be skipping the step 3 of that phase. All the other parts of the end phase will still remain. That's a generic way of how the boss encounters work. Also, one thing we have to note is bosses are unaffected by abilities or conditions that reduce their speed or prevent them from moving. Each fight, though, does have its own setup and special rules, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Reaver captain. This particular combat will take place on this tile, and there's a rule that says heroes cannot make an explore action during this encounter. We are stuck in this room and we have to take these people on. We're going to be placing down all of our enemies. The Reaver captain will be here. It will be noted or defined by this miniature here. There isn't a specific miniature for the Reaver captain. You just use a Reaver miniature that you'd use just like as if you were doing a crawl. We're putting a brigand, a Brute. We'll also be putting a Brigand down here, and we'll have finally a Raider here with our Reaver Captain in the middle. And HS is where our heroes are going to start. Here's the setup as you saw in the book, plus I decided to put our hero miniatures down in those particular places. This guy better turn so he can see us. I think we're going to be all set to start this battle. Another thing I do want to mention is during this battle, unless it says inside the setup for the particular boss, we'll not be using our toolkits or our fire kits. Of course, we can't escape from this place, and there's no way we're going to be making camp while we're trying to fight some bad guys. We will be using the other tokens though. Our potion token, our fate tokens, and our token that will allow us to refresh our fate if it's expired. We can flip one of these over to refresh all of our fate, and these potion tokens will bring people back if they die. There are a lot of enemies out here. Let's see if our characters can take them on. Let's go to the first round. Before we do, I thought we'd take a look at our characters. We have Dawnguard. Dawnguard has spent 2 of the 4 experience points that this character has to power up Guiding Strike. I've decided to do that. What this now is able to do is give us a +1 to the hero's attack range during the attack, and if it hits another hero in the same or adjacent zone, we'll be able to gain Bless, which should help us out quite a bit. And Bless will give us the ability to gain advantage on our next action roll. Nightfeather spent 3 of the experience points to grab Nimble. I think this is going to be awesome. When this hero would dodge, they could move 1 space left to right in the marching order instead. And I'm hoping that that might even be able to combo with Dawnguard's Steadfast that the character has, which allows us to pin people to the initiative track. I think that'll be really good. With Skull Splitter, it took a lot to figure out what I want to do with him, but what we decided on was Vengeance. Vengeance, it costs 3 to buy skills, so I bought this with the 3. Once per round, if another hero in or the same or adjacent zone to this hero suffers a wound, this hero may spend a fate token to immediately move into their zone and make an attack as a free action. The reason I decided to pick that up is I think I'm going to be this is going to be kind of fun, because I have this, remember, on him. This hero can reroll their first attack roll each turn. So a turn is one character's turn. So if I'm able to trigger this, I can re-roll these dice even on other characters' turn, because it says on each turn, not during the whole round. The round would be the entire initiative track, but each turn I could re-roll one. So I'm hoping that will actually help us out. Also, I can take damage instead of using fate tokens to make this fire off as well. So I think it'll be a good buy. We'll see how it turns out. It's time to shuffle up our initiative order. We have our 3 characters. We have our Brigand, Raider, Brute, and we have our 2 attacks from our Reaver Captain that we have. And I'm going to place this out on the board so we can see it while we're fighting. Let's go ahead, give these a good old truffle shuffle here, and see who's going to be the first to take some actions. I'm really hoping we get to go first. Please, please be us first. Let's see here. It is going to start with Nightfeather. That's fantastic, kind of. Oh, we're going to have an attack by the Reaper Captain. Then we have the Raider, followed by Skull Splitter, Brigand, Ripping Slash, Brute. Oh my gosh, Dawnguard is last. That's absolutely hilarious. I'll be using these tokens to signify who has gone in the round, and that way I don't have to be exhausting cards. Normally you exhaust a card, but I like using these tokens because then I can keep the board nice and orderly here as we fight through it. So we'll start with Nightfeather. Before we take our first action, I do want to show you our Reaver Captain's card. It does have an ability down here at the start of each end phase. Place an additional Brigand on this tile's Bardsung symbol. Unless there are 6 Brigand models already on the playing area. So I don't ever want to see 6 of them on the area. So we have to kind of keep those down to a dull roar as we try to take out the Reaver Captain. And I haven't explained really how you do damage. When you do damage to the Reaver Captain, you're going to be placing it onto the Reaver Captain. But when you do damage, it's going to flip these cards. It's not going to actually damage this card at all. This is just a reference card. So you see how it works as we play through it. But these are the enemy or the cards we will be damaging. Oh, barely got that out. Let's see what we can do with Nightfeather. Nightfeather is right here. I think we either want to try to pull somebody into a square or maybe attack. Now this Brute is bad news. I do not like Brutes, but the Raider is going to go next, and the Brute doesn't go for quite a while. This is a tough choice. I think we are going to use our throwing knife first here. I am going to be able to add +1 to the hero's attack range during this attack, and I am going to target that Brigand. It does show right here that it will cost me a fate token, so we're going to flip one of our fate tokens to the use side. We'll roll our dice and see how we do. Our brigand's target number is 9. We'll roll up a die and see how it goes. I got a Bardsung symbol. Oh, that's fantastic. So not only is that an auto crit, but I get to replenish a fate token that we've used. So I get that fate token right back. That's awesome. If we look at our throwing knife card here, a crit is going to be doing 2 wounds, and 2 wounds will be enough to kill this brigand. I'm not going to gain the gold because there are more brigands on the board, but we are going to remove this one from the board. That was super. What I'm going to do next is I am going to taunt. I'm going to use my taunt power here. It says add +1 to the hero's attack range during this attack. If the attack hits, after resolving the effects, the target can be placed in the same zone as this hero. So I'm going to taunt this figure right here. It might be smarter to taunt the brute, but I think I have a plan. Sadly enough, we all know how those end up. To hit our Reaver Captain, I need an 11 or better, and I got a 19, so that will be enough to hit him. We're going to have to see if we crit, so in that case, I'm going to check his toughness versus our damage die. Our damage die is a D6, so I need to get a 4 or better. I did not. So if we look at our taunt card, it actually isn't going to do any damage, which is kind of funny. Our taunt card is going to do nothing, but I do get to dodge, and I can take this character with me. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to dodge over to this square, bringing the Reaver Captain with me. I know it sounds like a pretty dumb idea, but no matter where this character would have gone, this Reaver Captain would have been right on top of him. It says here, charge closest hero in the marching order. And so then it will attack with a range of 0, but it has a pulsing icon here, which means it would attack every single character that is in that zone or within the radius of whatever the range is. So lucky for me, there is only one, so we'll see if we can survive this attack. We'll be trying to hit the target number of our cull card, which is an 11. That's our plan here. And I got a 10, plus Nightfeather does have 1 defense. So that's an 11. We were able to meet or beat that card, so it did not hit. There is no miss trigger here. So that's the end of the cull card. We were able to survive that. We'll move into the Raider's turn. The Raider is going to be using the Cautious AI card and the Retreat AI card. Those are found right down here on his card. So we'll start here and then use this one. So if we look at our Cautious card, it states that he is going to attack the closest hero. Well, the closest hero is 1, 2, or 1, 2. Pretty much everything on this board is 2 squares away. So it's going to attack the closest hero. They're all the same distance. So it will attack the person that is the closest in the initiative order, the highest, I should say, in the initiative order. So it is going to attack Nightfeather. Just to show here, our Raider does have a 2 range, which is why he's able to target the closest hero at 2 range away. We're going to be taking a damage if we don't get a 10 or higher. We got an 11 plus 1 is 12, so we were able to successfully dodge that attack. Our Raider will now move on to its Retreat card. The Retreat card isn't going to do anything. It says if this enemy is in the same zone as a hero, it'll move up to its speed value toward the closest zone that a hero doesn't occupy. If the enemy doesn't have sufficient speed to reach the valid zone, it won't do anything. There's nobody in the zone, so he's not going to move. Our next character is going to be Skull Splitter. Skull Splitter can do 2 actions. The first action he is going to do is he's going to move up to where this brute is. I do not like brutes. Brutes are absolutely brutal. They have the ability down here that says this enemy and other hobgoblin enemies in the same zone can't suffer more than 1 wound from a single attack. If he's able to get into a group of people, it's going to be bad news. So I'm going to try to take him out right away. We're going to start by using our Frenzy card. Our Frenzy card is going to cost us 1 of our Fate tokens, and it says if Skull Splitter was wounded by an enemy attack during this round, this attack doesn't cost Fate. Sadly, that has not been the case. It does have this little icon down here, so I can chain this. And what that means is I can spend another Fate token as long as I have successfully attacked to be able to attack again. So we will spend our Fate token, and I'll be rolling 2 dice because up here it shows that this person is resistant to physical attacks. So I am at disadvantage. I have to roll 2 dice and hope to get an 8 or better. I got a 3 plus 3 is 6. That is not enough, but that's okay. I do have that topaz that this hero can re-roll their first attack roll each turn. So we're going to do that again. Oh, that 1 isn't going to help me. Well, the 1 kind of helps me. If you roll a 1, you do get your Fate token back. Sadly, without hitting on my first attack, I'm not able to trigger my chain attack, so his turn is done. So that was the opposite of splitting skulls. That was splitting air. We'll move into the Brigand's turn here. The Brigand is going to be able to use its Ferocious AI card. It has a range of 0. It's going to choose to attack a hero in the same zone or charge a hero in an unengaged zone. If we look here, these 2 are in engaged zones, so it's going to move here and attack Dawnguard. The Brigand has a target number of 9. We'll see if we're able to get that. I got an 11. Dawnguard also has +1 to defense, so that would be a 12, meaning the Brigand missed. Looking at our AI cards, we have Ripping Slash next. It's going to charge the hero with the highest initiative. So the highest initiative is going to be Nightfeather yet again, so it's just going to stay right where it is in attack. And notice this one does not have any of those pulse symbols or anything, but it does have a miss. If it misses, it will be pushing this character off of where that character is. I need to roll that 11 or higher in order to not get hit by this. And I got an 8 plus 1 is 9. That's not enough. So this Ripping Slash is not going to cause just a wound. It's going to cause a severe wound. It's basically going to turn this card over and I'm going to have to deal with it. I am terrified. It says this hero must end their turn in the same zone as another hero if possible. Notice there's a 12 down there. This particular serious wound, I have the ability to roll with my, I believe it's intellect, to try to get rid of it. And I can do this during my turn. At the start of my turn, I'm able to roll, and I can only do it to one serious wound. So if I had like 3 serious wounds, I can only choose one of them to try to roll against. I have to meet or beat that number, and if I do, we would just take the card and flip it over. So we would still have the wound, it just wouldn't be as severe. And of course, here I am, super excited that I bought my Vengeance power, and I put him so far away that I can't even move over there and try to help him out. We'll go into our Brute's turn. Our Brute has Disciplined. It is going to attack the hero in the same zone, so it's just going to make an attack against Skull Splitter. Now, if I was smart, I would have brought my Reaver Captain right there, knowing I was going to move Skull Splitter up there to try to take that guy out. And if he got hit, I could have moved him over and made an attack against the Reaver Captain, but nope, not too smart. I need an 8 in order to successfully dodge this attack. I got a 15. I am not at disadvantage when I make the defense roll, even though when I attack him, I am. Dawnguard is last. Dawnguard is going to start by showing off the Sun Shield. At the start of the encounter, place 3 devotion tokens on this card. This hero can spend devotion tokens in place of fate. And we're going to start by using our Steadfast ability here. Move this hero or another hero 1 space left or right on the marching order, and then that target gains pinned. I'm going to move Skull Splitter up 1. He is now going to be pinned to this location, meaning that he will automatically be the 3rd character to activate next time we shuffle up our initiative order and gain the marching order. I could use my Fate token, but I'm instead going to use a Devotion token, leaving me with 2. Once that is complete, we are going to use Guiding Strike to try to hit this Brigand. I think that's going to be our best plan. But before I do, I always miss this when I play the Brute. This Brute has a miss ability here that says that he is going to push his target. So I'm going to push him into this square right here, because that way this Brigand might be able to attack him next turn. You kind of try to want to push him into an advantageous position if you can. Also, when it comes to activating multiple characters on a board, if I had multiple Brigands on this board, you always start with the most north character and then go in a clockwise order. These are all completely different characters, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference, but I just want you to be aware that that's how it works. Dawnguard now, like I said, will take in action and be able to use Guiding Strike. I lied, I'm not attacking the Brigand. The reason why is because of my upgraded Guiding Strike. It says I can add +1 to this hero's attack range, and the Brute is 1 square away, so we're going to take him on instead. I do have to roll a disadvantage, so I'm going to be rolling 2 of these and hoping to get an 8 or higher. I did. The lowest one is a 9. That's the one I have to keep. Now we'll see if we're able to crit this character. My damage roll is a D6, and this is a 6 over here to see if we crit. I got a 2, so that didn't crit him, and it wouldn't have really mattered too much because I can only do 1 damage with this character no matter how I do this. So we'll take this character will take 1 damage, and I get to push this character. We'll place the damage down on the board there, and I'm going to push him right there. He's right in the middle. Hopefully somebody can take this guy out. Then this card states, if this attack hits, another hero in the same or adjacent zone gains a Blessing token. So I'm going to put a Blessing token right here. That gives me advantage on my next action roll. This brings us to the end of the round, and our Reaver Captain's power is going to fire off at the start of the end phase. Place an additional Brigand on the Bardsung tile. The reason it's beginning is because if say there are no Brigands on the board, I would place this down, allowing that initiative card to go into the marching order. We have completed our first round. There isn't any tokens or anything that are going to cause us to have to do something during the end phase, and we are not rolling our event die for this boss battle. So instead, we're going to take all of the cards except for Skull Splitters, give them a good old truffle shuffle here, and we'll see the new marching order, knowing that Skull Splitter, no matter what, is going to be 3rd. So he's going to be going sooner than over half these people, which I think will be pretty good. We'll start with, we're going to start with our Ripping Slash. That's fantastic. Oh no, Nightfeather, I was hoping you wouldn't be there. Then we got our Brigand, Dawnguard, and then the final Cull, Brute, and our Raider will be going last. And even though I tried to get Skull Splitter as close to the front as I could, poor Nightfeather is going to take the ripping slash. We'll see if we can dodge it. It has a target number of 11 again. Come on, Nightfeather. Yes, a 19. That's fantastic. +1 gives me a 20, but that doesn't mean I get to refresh a symbol. It's only if you actually get the full Bardsung symbol, or the 1 would be the only way you'd actually replenish your fate tokens. Getting over a 20 is fantastic, but doesn't help in that aspect. There is a miss reaction here, so I am going to get pushed. And he's going to push me right into this guy. It is now Nightfeather's turn. Nightfeather's going to start by trying to get rid of this. And I do get +1 because I have +1 right here. I need to get an 11 or better. I got a 2. That's no good. This card is still in play. I also want to let you know I have Mysterious Coin and Green Herbs for this character. Mysterious Coin allows me to reroll an action roll, which I could have used for right now, but I'm going to save it. And I do also have the ability to heal a wound on this hero or another hero in the same or adjacent zone. I can use these only during my turn, and I don't feel it's worth it. Now, I do have an interesting question. I'm not sure how this works. I'm not sure if this can get rid of serious wounds or if it can just get rid of the wound cards when they're in that thing. I believe it's just like this because these are wounds and these are serious wounds. But, you know, I could be wrong. Interestingly enough, I have to end my turn, according to this thing, the hero must end their turn in the same zone as another hero if possible, which is kind of funny because I can do a lot of dodging, so I shouldn't have too much trouble having that happen. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my throwing knives yet again, and I'm going to target this square here. I'm going to target that guy. Let's see if we can take that raider out so he won't actually even do anything. That is going to cost me a fate token, and this character is physically vulnerable, meaning I get advantage on this roll. And I got a 17 and a 1. I'm going to take the 17, and that's going to be a hit. Now let's see if we're able to crit this character. I get to roll a D4 for my D6, sorry, for my damage die, and I got a 5. So that does critically hit, and if we look at our throwing knives, that is going to give us 2 damage, which is going to take out the raider. There are no other raiders on the board, so we are going to be removing this card, giving ourselves 1 gold. We carried over 3 from our last mission, so I have 4 gold right now. We'll remove the miniature from the board, and we'll remove the card from the back of the initiative order. I have another action I'm going to do, and that's going to be Piercing Strike. I am going to attack this brute. This brute is physically resilient, so I need an 8 or better on 2 dice. I got a 7 and a 9. I have to take the 7, but when I make my attack, it is with dexterity, so I do get to add any additional modifiers I have, and my token is giving me +2 according to my stats. So that is enough to hit him. Our Piercing Strike does give us +2 to the damage roll if this is the only enemy in the square. This is the only enemy in the square. We'll see if we're able to hit this guy. I got a 4 +2 is 6. That's it. That's what we need in order to critically hit this guy. He can only take 1 damage instead of the 2 from this critical wounds, but he's already taken 1. So he's going to have taken his second wound, which is going to make him heat up, and he is going to change now. His toughness has gone down. He's going to be ferocious, and he's lost that ability to protect his fellow friends. And to close out this amazing turn, the last thing I have to do is dodge. And I'm going to choose to dodge into this square, being able to account for my serious wound of Terrified. Also, I want you to be in mind that you can have as many people as you want in the zone. That's right, I just kind of keep on expanding them out from here if that was the case. But we're able to stick with just the ones we got there. I'm going to remove this wound because he's no longer wounded. We were able to do the 2 to heat him up. Skull Splitter will be going next. Sadly, I can't use my Nimble card. I really wish I could, because then I could have swapped these 2. I could have had him go backwards, so that he'd be probably attacked more than Nightfeather would. Because Nightfeather only has 4 here before this character is going to fall, where Skull Splitter has 7, an astronomical amount more. Skull Splitter has 2 actions, but sadly there's only 1 enemy in his zone, and the other one would have to be a move. Or I could move and then attack if I wanted to. Though if I move, I would have to roll to see if I can get away from him. In order to do that, I would have to take a Parting Blow, where I would roll against the enemy's target number, at least the highest one in the zone. If I pass the roll, I do get to move as normal, and if I don't, the move action ends and I lose the action. So I think it's better just to hit this guy. I'm going to use my Wild Swipe and try to take him out. This Brigand has a target number of 9. I gain advantage on this attack because I do have my Bless token here. Sadly, this isn't really the person I wanted to use this on, but I'll take it. I got a 13. That is a hit. Now, the interesting thing about Skull Splitter is his damage die is a D10. So I have a D10 I'm going to roll to see if we're able to crit this character's toughness of 4. I got the 4, so that is enough to do the 2 damage. That Brigand is dead. The card is not gone because there's still more Brigands on the board. We'll remove the Brigand from the board. And at this point, I have one more action. I could move. If I move into one of these two places, that would make him the target of the attacks, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I think we're going to do that. I'm going to move into the Brute's square. No, I'm going to move into the... Yeah, I'll move into the Brute's square. I lied. Brigand. I got a plan. We're going to move into the Brigand's square. Yep, another plan. We'll see if it works. With Skull Splitter's turn completed, I do have to remove this after I shuffled everything up and placed them out. That's when I should have removed it. I shouldn't have removed it now. Just noticed it was there. We'll move into the Brigand's turn, and the Brigand is ferocious, so the Brigand will attack the person that's in his square, a hero in the same zone. So that is going to be Skull Splitter. Skull Splitter needs a 9 or better. A 7 is not going to do it. Skull Splitter is going to take 1 wound. It's not a critical or a severe wound. It's just a regular wound, and that's the first one of 7. Dawnguard is going to move over to here and then attack with Guiding Strike. I really wanted to use my pinning ability again, my Steadfast, but I need to separate all these characters, and I'll show you why soon. The Brute's target number has increased to a 10. We'll see if we hit. We did hit. That's fantastic. Let's see if we're able to crit this character. We did. We got the crit. That's awesome. Now, sadly, the crit on Guiding Strike isn't the greatest, but it's still pretty awesome. I'm able to hit him, do a wound, and I gain back one of my fate tokens. We're back up to 3 fate tokens, and he takes a wound and gets pushed. We'll place our wound token right next to the Brute, and I could choose to push. It does say you can push, so it doesn't mean I have to. And I actually don't want to push the Brute. I want to keep him right where he is. Again, I have a plan. With Dawnguard done, we'll move into this Cull card, and it says charge closest hero in the marching order. That's not the initiative, like it's not the same as the highest initiative. It's the closest in the marching order from this card. So that's going to be Dawnguard. He's going to go and try to attack him because he's the closest to this card in the marching order. This is why I moved Dawnguard into this space, mainly because this is a pulse attack and it would hit everybody in that space that was a friendly person to me. So I didn't want him to be able to hit all these characters. If I would have left him here, he would have gone after both of those. Moved him here, he would have gone after both of those. I just want him to try to hit Dawnguard on the character's own. So let's see if we can block it and then we don't have to worry too much more. I have to roll an 11 or better. Oh, I got my 11. That's fantastic. So this card didn't even hit. The Ferocious Brute is last, and this Brute is going to attack Dawnguard. I need a 10 or better in order to block this. I got a 5. That is not quite enough, so that means Dawnguard is going to take 1 damage. So we'll go ahead and give this card to her or him, and I'm also going to get pushed. On top of that, I have my ability now called Vengeance, which states, once per round, if another hero in the same or adjacent zone to this hero suffers a wound, this hero may spend 1 fate token to immediately move into their zone and make an attack as a free action. I'm going to do that. I'm going to move in and attack this Brute. I'm a little not sure about how it would all fire off because this does say if another hero in the same zone or adjacent to this suffers a wound, the hero may spend 1 fate token to immediately move into their zone and make an attack as a free action. But remember, this Brute is also going to push this character into this zone here. So I'm not sure if I'd have to do the push first before I move in here, but I'm going to go with the word immediately and take a swing at this Brute. I need a 10 or better in order to hit. I got a 4. I'm going to use my Topaz, which allows me to re-roll my first attack each turn, and I got a 2, so that was fantastic. He totally missed. That will cost me a fate token, and I have to place down another Brigand, so we're down to 2 fate tokens able to be used. Sadly, nobody is pinned to the order this time, so we're going to give these a good old truffle shuffle and see who gets to go first. I'm really hoping that Skull Splitter goes first so I can take out that Brute and maybe even take a swing at the Reaver. Nope, Cull's going to go first, followed by the Brute. Oh, that's no good. Dawnguard's going to get attacked. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Look at all this. Oh, my guys are going last. This is so funny. All right, Cull is going to go first, so it's going to target the character closest in the marching order, which is going to be Dawnguard. Dawnguard is going to get attacked by the Reaver Captain. So we'll charge the Reaver Captain right down here and make an attack. I need an 11 or better in order to not get hit. I got a 16, so nothing happens to me. That's awesome. Our Brute's going to go next. Our Brute is ferocious. It's going to attack Skull Splitter in the same zone that he is. So let's roll it up. I need a 10 or better to not get damaged. I got a Bardsung symbol, so we get to flip over one of our fate tokens. We got all 3 of them available to us, but I still have to suffer a push. We'll push him into all of these enemies over here. I'm sure that's exactly where he wants to be put. And Dawnguard is going to go next. Dawnguard is going to start by using Guiding Strike. I kind of wish I would have got another attack. I was really thinking about buying another attack, but I decided to power this up instead. I get to add one to the hero's attack range during this, so I am going to attack this character right here. The Brute needs a 10, or I need a 10, I should say, to hit the Brute. I do hit the Brute. Let's see if we crit, though. I think it's a mute point because he already has one. Oh, I critted him, too. I have all my fate tokens, so I don't get to replenish one of those. Also, I am already going to kill him, so he is not going to get pushed, but I do get to give a bless token to somebody. We'll remove the Brute. I'm going to gain 2 coins, bringing our coin total up to 6 in our coin stash that we have. I'm also going to give our bless token we're going to give this token to Skull Splitter. I'm going to be super tricky. I am going to use one of my tokens here to use Steadfast, and it allows me to move this hero or another hero 1 space left or right on the marching order and then pin them. I'm going to do it to Skull Splitter because I can move him ahead of this Ripping Slash card before it takes effect. With Dawnguard having gone, it is now Skull Splitter's turn, and he's going to attack the Reaver Captain. Our Reaver Captain has a target number of 11. I do have my Bless token, so I get to roll 2 and take the highest. I have advantage on this attack. I'll take the 18. I don't see why I wouldn't do that. And now we get to roll to see if we're able to critically hit this character. I roll a d10, and I got a 3. That's not enough. I'm only going to be able to do 1 wound to that Reaver Captain. So at this point, we're going to use Frenzy. It's going to cost me one of my fate tokens to attack, but that's okay. I'll roll it up and see what I get. I'll need an 11. I got a 15, so that is definitely enough. This time, let's see if we crit. Hopefully we do. We got a 10. So this time we did crit. So we're going to do 2 damage to this character according to our card here. So the way it works when you attack a boss is our first attack did 1 damage. So I'll put that just right there. Our second attack did 2 damage. We're going to be, instead of damaging our card, since this is just a card that tells us how to fight against this character, these are the cards we're damaging. So you always start with the one at the top. So I did 2 damage, so I'm going to flip this card, and that will take these 2 damage into account. They're discarded now because I have done enough to heat up that attack. We do get to spill the other damage over onto this card, which again is just a damage out on the Reaver Captain, but do know that if I can hit this card again for 1 damage, it would also be heated up as well. And I'm hoping that's exactly what's going to happen because I am going to chain this attack with my Frenzy. I need an 11 or better. I got a 9, but that's okay. Skull Splitter has a +3 to strength, which is the stat that we use for a Frenzy attack. So 9 + 3 is 12. That is a hit. Let's see if we're able to crit this character again. I got a 3. I did not, so I only do 1 damage, but that will be enough to heat up Ripping Slash. Let's heat up Ripping Slash and see what happens. Now, if you notice, these are going to change the way they attack now. So this is going to be doing serious wounds and push people all over the place, where before all it would do is a serious wound or push. So you're always getting pushed now, and now you could also be taking this serious wound and being pushed. Oh my gosh, this is getting tough. And of course, since Skull Splitter heated up Ripping Slash, it's time for it to attack. And it is going to attack the highest initiative order. That is going to be Dawnguard. Dawnguard is standing in the same space as Skull Splitter. This is now a 12 I have to hit. Lucky for us, this is not a pulse attack, or I would have to attack Skull Splitter with it. We'll see if we get our 12 or not. I got an 11, plus I do get that +1, which is 12. So this attack did not hit me, but the miss will push me. I'm going to push Dawnguard over to this location over there. I don't think it'd be advantageous to put him with that character. Now I have some options. I could try to lure this character over to where Night Feather is and try to take him out, or I could maybe take out a Brigand. I think I want to take out the Brigands because they're just going to keep on coming, and they're going to go next in the initiative order. I'm going to spend our Fate token in order to use our Throwing Knife and see if we can take out one of these guys. They have a target number of 9, and I got a 12, so that does hit. Let's see if we're able to crit them. I got a 4. That is enough to crit. Yes, so we're going to do 2 damage to this character, and that'll take out this Brigand. There is still 1 on the board, but wow, that was super good. At this point, Night Feather does have to get into a square with a person. I forgot that I have this card. First, I actually should have seen if I got rid of this card. I have to roll an 11 or better, and I might get rid of it. Nope, do not get rid of it. So I'm going to have to deal with this. I have to get into a space where there is somebody. So at this point, I have to use Taunt. Oh, I can't use Taunt. Taunt could miss, and then I wouldn't be able to suffice what the card says. So instead, I'm going to have to just move 1, 2 into this square where that character is so that I'm able to not be terrified. It's now the Brigand's turn, and he's ferocious, so he's just going to attack Skull Splitter. Again, Skull Splitter needs a 9 or better in order to protect himself. He was able to do that. We again get to the end of the end phase, I should say, so I'm going to put another Brigand down. I forgot to put our pin token on Skull Splitter, but we'll grab the rest of our initiative cards and give them a good old truffle shuffle here and see if we can get ourselves to not have to worry about this Reaver Captain. I really want the Reaver Captain to not attack first. Let's see how we do. We have Night Feather, perfect. Oh, then Ripping Slash. Hopefully we get rid of that. Dawn Guard, Brigand, and Cull is at the end. So we'll start with Night Feather. Night Feather does get a chance to try to get rid of this vile thing, Terrified. Let's see how that goes. He did. He got a 19. So Terrified is now just a wound, which is totally fine. I also have to discard our pin token, put it back on Dawn Guard, and now Night Feather can activate. Night Feather is going to attempt to taunt our Reaver Captain. I need an 11 or better in order to taunt him. I got an 18. That's fantastic. I did taunt him. Let's see if we critted him. I did not. I did not crit him, so I only was able to taunt him, which means he's going to be able to move. I'm able to move this character into my square. Now what I can do is I could dodge and then have this move us into the square, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dodge and put the Reaver Captain right there. Let's try to get him with my Piercing Strike now. But before I do, I think I lied. I think I'm going to keep him right where he is. I think that's going to be the best plan, because then I can have this character attack as well. Our Reaver Captain has already taken 1 wound. Let's see if I can get him again. Yes, it rolled right over to that 11. I get to add +2 to this roll. I got a 5, so I did crit, which means we did do 2 damage to this Reaver Captain, giving us a total of 3. Having done 3 damage, we're going to remove 2 of it to be able to take out the topmost initiative attack. We're then going to flip this card back over to its other side, and it's going to have gained, and the Reaver Captain is going to gain another wound. So in order to complete this boss encounter, I have to heat this card up and hit the Reaver Captain enough to do the 2 damage to remove that card as well. We'll move into Skull Splitter's turn. Oh yes, Skull Splitter is now next. Skull Splitter is going to stay right where he is and try to take out both of those guys. We'll use Wild Swipe as our first attack. I got a 2, that's not enough, but I get to re-roll my first attack. I got a 9, that is enough. Let's see if we're able to crit that character. I get to roll a D10. This is out of control. I critted that character. He's super dead. This guy goes bye-bye. Now I'm going to be able to use Skull Splitter's ability. It states right here that during this turn, Skull Splitter can suffer damage and to ignore ability fate costs. So I'm going to ignore the frenzy fate cost by taking 1 damage. That is his 2nd damage he has taken, and we're going to attack and see how we do against the Brigand. Well, I got a 4 plus 3 is 7. That's not quite enough, so sadly that didn't work out as well as I was hoping. Dawn Guard will be the next person to go. We'll start by pinning Skull Splitter. I'm going to move him right up to the front. I don't know if that's the greatest idea because he's going to be stuck in the place where all the Brigands keep coming. I think I'm going to leave Night Feather at the top. I'm going to pin Night Feather to the top. Being able to do maybe a, critical or piercing strike on the Brigand Captain might be the way to finish this all off. That's his first action. The second action, Dawn Guard is going to use Guiding Strike. I need an 11 to get this character. I got a 3, so I totally missed. Our Brigand's next. It's going to attack Skull Splitter here. Then after that, we're going to be firing off our Cull attack, which is going to charge the closest hero in the marching order. The closest hero is Dawn Guard, so it's going to stay right where he is, and he's going to attack with Cull. First thing I have to do is not get hit by this Brigand. I did that. That's fantastic. Now we're going to be using our Cull card, and this is going to be attacking Dawn Guard. Let's see how that goes. I got a 13. I was able to block it. After this attack resolves, we have to deal with this Pulse, which means it's going to hit everybody else in the square as well. So Night Feather is there. Night Feather also has to roll. Night Feather got a 4. So Night Feather is going to take a damage and get pushed. I'm going to move Skull Splitter in there, though, and take a damage because I can damage myself to ignore the ability card's need for fate. So I'm going to ignore the fate to be able to use my Vengeance, and I'm going to attack that Brigand. Or sorry, it's the Reaver Captain. I need to get an 11 in order to hit this guy. I got a 13. That's awesome. Let's see if we crit this guy. I got a 4. That's enough to crit him, so I've done 2 damage. That's going to be enough to heat up our Cull card and leave this Reaver Captain with 1 health remaining. I still have to push Nightfeather over to this location here, but I think we might have this. I'm super excited to how well this has gone. Our characters have played so well together in this adventure. We've come to the beginning of the end step. I will put another Brigand out on the board, and our Brigand card is still there. Nightfeather is pinned. We'll see if Nightfeather can win this for us. Well, it'd be pretty cool if he can. Let's see what's going to be next. Skull Splitter, Dawn. Okay, I don't see how we can't. We can't fail, I don't think. Okay, come on, guys. Don't let me down. Nightfeather has no fate in order to throw out the knives, so we're going to start with Taunt against this character. I need an 11 in order to hit the Reaver Captain. I did. I got an 11 plus 1 is 12. Let's see if we're able to crit this character. That'd be fantastic. We did. We killed him with a taunt. That's pretty funny. The Reaver Captain had 1 health left, so that means the second one will remove this card from the initiative track, and that is the end of the Reaver Captain. They had no more initiative cards, so we were able to defeat him, and that is the end of this mission. Here's our resolution, that if all the Reaver Captain's initiative cards are removed from the marching order, the boss is defeated and the heroes complete the encounter. And we are going to go to our narrative, and for us, we are doing 2D. That is where we are in our story. So we're going to check out narrative entry 84. The Reaver lies dead, and you are free to descend a set of steps leading into the depths. Before long, a warm light comes into view from below, a beacon painting the scene with an orange hue. The mysterious stranger awaits, a lantern held in their pale hand. Greetings, heroes. You are doing well to get this far, and your conviction is to be admired. But I ask you, what is a hero without great feats to their name? How can noble deeds be achieved without coin for a sharper sword, finer armor, and a full belly? Many a prideful hero has found their fate in the gutter, no matter the glory of their tales. And why should this be yours, when there are such potent treasures to be found in their depths? The hand holding the lantern moves, illuminating an archway beyond. Look to that which is ensnared within the roots of the ever-standing oak, the great tree that dwells in the heart of the forest above. With the stranger's reappearance, it's clear there is once more a choice to be made. Will you follow the detour and fill your pockets, or turn your back upon the promised riches, content with the satisfaction of more noble pursuits? A daring rescue is a fine thing indeed, but one cannot eat morals for breakfast. You are faced with a choice. If you want to continue the search for the missing villagers, progress to Chapter 5. If you want to follow the stranger's detour to gain 2 corruption, then progress to Chapter 6. Oh, that corruption is kind of neat. We could be at -3 corruption. I don't think I've ever played a dungeon crawler where I went into the negatives when it came to some kind of reputation type track. That might be kind of tempting. I'll have to hear what each of you has to say in the comments below. We do get rewards for our work here in Chapter 2. We are on Encounter 3. We are going to gain 1 XP. And since we completed the chapter, we're going to gain 3. So we're going to get a total of 4 experience points that we are going to have to spend. That brings Dawnguard's total to 6, Nightfeather's to 5, and Skull Splitter's to 4. We have so much experience we can do. Oh, it's going to be amazing what we're going to do between our missions here. There you have it. That is our boss battle in Bardsung. We were able to take down the Reaver Captain. This was the first boss that we've faced, so I wasn't expecting too much of a challenge, but there were a lot of enemies out there, and we got some really good rolls at the beginning to keep ourselves from not getting killed, which is usually the main objective whenever you play one of these games. I like the way that these bosses all have their own initiative cards that are put into the deck that makes them be able to act more often than just once a turn. I think that's really cool. And on top of that, they each did different things, and they all heat up to do different things. I really enjoy that system in the game. There's a lot of good things going on in Bardsung. I really enjoy this game. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you know when more Bardsung comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon. The link of that is also in the description of this video. In the Patreon, you're able to help decide how some of these games evolve. You can choose characters, choose paths we've taken. You can tell me what characters you're interested in seeing painted. We do live paintings and also some live playthroughs as well that I let members of the Patreon choose for me, which is pretty awesome. So if you're interested in supporting the channel and giving some feedback into how this channel performs, please feel free to join. There are already some people that have, and I've listed them right here on the video. You can see them there. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you all again for watching. And if you're excited to see more Bardsung or anything else, then I need you to meet me at the table.